Hello students, in this lecture we will understand about the photographic process. In order to understand photographic process, we must know that what is a subject, what is a light source, camera, photographic film and chemical for film processing, the printing device and photographic printing paper. The subject can be anything. If it can be seen, it can be photographed. Just as there must be light to form an image, there must be a subject from which to form the image. In photography, a landscape, person or a model, any physical object, an abstract or regular form can be used as a subject. Photography, which means writing with light, has the word light inherent in it. It is a component without which no picture can be made. No picture, no light. It is the light which makes impression on the film and in the case of digital camera on the CCD, that is charge coupled devices. Light has its own characteristics which at any point of time has its own effects. To understand lights properly, we must understand about the types of light and their properties. Lights, as we know, keep varying throughout the day. The effect of this can be seen during the day and during the seasons. For example, in the months of summer, light is very strong, even harsh, while in the month of winter, it is very pleasant, it is very warm. While on the other hand, during monsoon, light can be very flat, it can be overcast, leaves no shadow. Therefore, one has to be careful as far as play of light is concerned. Camera records these effects faithfully and it is up to the cameraman to study and to make the best possible use of it. Therefore, study of light by the cameraman is absolutely essential. Primarily, there are two sources of light. One is the natural source and the other one is artificial source. Let us see the natural source of light. Sun is the biggest source of light which is available to us throughout the year. Besides this, what we normally fail to realize is that even the moon is a source of light. There are bright stars in the sky. Besides the sun, nearly 100 of them which are a source of light. Terrestrial body like Milky Way also forms part of natural light. Yet another source of light is lightning, which we normally take it as a subject or thrill matter, but the fact is that the amount of light it gives can be used even for doing great photography. Let us now see the artificial sources of light. The first one is the one which is combustion based lamp on the walls, on the ceiling, else one of the best sources available in the olden period. Today, they are used as antiques and they have great amount of decorative values. During those days, whale oil was used to light up the lamps, but these days these pieces have lost their values and can be found in beautiful settings, drawing rooms or at some other places. Outdoor lamps or circular lamps, these lamps had a round wick and they were very beautifully made and were decorated, and at the same time they were very useful. Today they can be seen in the movies of olden days as a piece of antique or something like that. Next we have is the argon flash, which is very bright and is used for very brief moments. That is all. It does not do anything except it can be used for flash purposes. Candles. These need no introduction. Solid wax with wick inside. These are most decorative piece today and they are also very useful, and when they are lighted up, they create a beautiful atmosphere, a mood, a romantic mood and an ideal candlelight dinner. Pyrotechnics. These were initially used by the army to light up an area so that they could fire up the enemy. Today, they are used all over for sports events, for any function. Today, pyrotechnics have played a very important role. They themselves are subject to shoot and are so beautifully managed and beautifully displayed all over the world. Gas lighting. These are the famous old time gas lights used for lighting up the house and even the business places. These are also used during the marriages, processions and things like that. They are very useful, and the amount of light they generate is a very long time, and white light, which is pure, manages to last very long. Electric bulb. Most commonly used tungsten bulbs need no introduction. They are still in great demand and great use. Next we have the studio lights or the flashlights. These lights are used under controlled conditions, and they are intensity oriented. One can control the intensity of these lights and use them as per the requirement. We now have halogen lamps. They also need no introduction. You must have seen them during weddings, during any function. They are very useful. They help you in doing photography when you do not have flash light available to you. Compact fluorescent lamps. This is the latest introduction in the lighting system. They are very bright, and at the same time they are very economical. The trend is catching on to use them, and they can be used including for photography. Carbon arc. This is the light source which is used in cinema halls for projection purpose, as it gives natural lights. And the last we had is mercury and sodium vapor lights. We must have seen in the streets, on the roads and avenues. Not only look beautiful, but have a certain amount of charm in it. Modern camera formats. With that exhaustive list of specialized camera, let us now move on to the modern cameras, and before we discuss them, let us see what are three formats of cameras which are available in modern world. Miniature cameras. These are the cameras which have the size of 35 mm or below. Mostly 35 mm is used and the other ones are outdated. Then we have medium format camera, which uses a 120 mm film and the negative size in 6 centimeter on the one side, and on the other side it can vary from 6 by 6 to 6 by 7 to 6 by 8 to even 6 by 70. Then we have large format cameras, which starts with 4 inches by 5 inches and go up to 20 by 24 inches also. But the most popular ones are 4 by 5 inches and 8 by 10 inches. Types of modern camera. Having seen the three formats of the camera, let us now see as to what are the cameras available to us in these formats. We first have the view camera, then we have a viewfinder camera, then we have a TLR camera, SLR camera, and of course the most modern and the most useful DSLR camera. View camera is basically light tight seal, which means to say that no light can enter into the camera unless it is planned for. The bellows are something like that bellows of an accordion or a harmonium, which can move up and down and backward and forward. It was first introduced in the 19th century, and over to the period of time it is being refined and over refined, and today it is particularly one of the top cameras which is being used simply because of the large size of the negative. Though cumbersome looking, this camera has its own advantages and disadvantages. The biggest advantage is it has a high quality picture. It permits you to use a picture in the ground glass before it is clicked. The front holding lens and the real ground glass can be moved to ensure proper focus, perspective and depth of field. The camera, being heavy, is bearably placed on a stand, thereby avoiding camera shake. We will now see viewfinder cameras. First of all, let us understand as to what a viewfinder camera is. A viewfinder is primarily a facility available for the photographer to look through the eyepiece and see what is the composition going to be like. He can manipulate, he can move up and down, he can move right and left to get what he wants in his frame. He can see all this clearly and thereafter proceed with the next action. Viewfinders are found in both single lens reflex and twin lens reflect cameras. You would have seen the cameraman looking through the eyepiece trying to focus the subject, also trying to compose the picture and ultimately pressing the shutter. DSLR, that is digital single lens reflex camera. Having seen the film cameras, let us now have a look on the latest and the most modern in the photographic technology, the digital single lens reflex cameras. The digital camera is a system which permits recording an image on an image sensor. An image sensor is a device which enables recording of a visual in a digital information. Image sensors are of two types, CCD and CMOS. The CCD are preferred simply because they have been used over a period of time. They are being time tested, lot of improvement has taken place, development is taking place, and they are therefore first choice as far as recording an image is concerned. Today we are going to see black and white process of a film. As we all know, when we expose a film, a latent image is formed on the film. Now this image has to be developed, and that is what we call developing an image. Developing the film. There are various kinds of black and white films available in the market. To name a few, we have the Agfa Pan 25, we have Agfa Pan 400, and we have Ilford FP4, Ilford FP5, Kodak Tri-X Pan, one of the best film that is available at 400 ASA, and Kodak Verichrome Pan. Now these are some of the films that we have used for black and white photography. To develop the film, we have various developers available to us. For example, D76 or ID, then Agfa Rodinol and Patterson Acutol. These are some of the famous developers which are used for developing a film. We also use Ilford FP4 and the developer is D76. Now for D76, at 18 degrees centigrade, we require a time of 6 to 8.5 minutes for developing. As far as sheet film are concerned, these processes is different, in which case the film is processed through different tanks and it is moved from one tank to another in absolute darkness. Then we also have the tray processing, in which it is not like that this, because there is no daylight developing tank there and you have to control processing under different light conditions. Black and white films, besides being negative films, are also there which are in form of slide films. Slide films have different chemical process to be used, and those films are basically used for making black and white films or slides. Otherwise, mostly the black and white negative films are going out of fashion, particularly in this part of the world, and whatever films are available, there are processes, and mostly what happens is the negative film, the color negative film is used. It is processed in the lab and then the prints can be made in the gray tone, that is to say black and white tones. Photographic processes. Monochrome process. We all know that originally the photography was in black and white or monochrome. Between black and pure white, there are gray tones in between. Now these tones are the ones which makes a picture give a classic picture. The more the gray tones, the better that picture is. And therefore, one should try to get picture with as many as gray tones possible. Another point to note is that while black and white picture is considered between pure black and pure white, there is a thing called cyanotype pictures, which are also in the same category as black and white. Now in this, there is blue tone instead of pure white or pure black tone. Another tone which is available is albumin, wherein the tones are brownish. Today, we can produce black and white picture through digital cameras, and also monochrome pictures will always have a special place in world of photography because of their appeal. The permanence due to the silver halide based chemical used in process make it long lasting and of archival value. The color process. The first permanent color picture was taken in 1861 using 3 color separation principle. Take 3 separate black and white photographs using red, green and blue filters. These provides us the 3 basic channels required to create an image. Transparent prints of the images could be projected through similar color filters and superimposed on the projection screen. This is additive method of color reproduction. Autochrome. The first commercially successful color process was introduced by Lumiere brothers in 1907. In 1935, Kodachrome introduced the first integrated tri-pack, and it captured 3 color component in multi-layer emulsion. A color print in paper could be produced by superimposing carbon print of 3 images made in their complementary colors, that is the subtractive method of color reproduction, which is cyan, magenta and yellow. Instant color film used an special camera which yielded a unique finished color print only a minute or 2 after the exposure was introduced by a Polaroid in 1963. Digital process. In 1981, Sony introduced Sony Mavica, a digital camera using charge coupled devices. This eliminated the need of a film camera. While Mavica saved images to disk, the images were displayed on television and the camera was not fully digital. In 1991, Kodak introduced its first digital single lens reflex camera. It was very expensive and only photojournalists and commercial photographers could use it. People who were working commercially were also using it, but for common man it was not easy to use. The other was that digital camera recorded the picture on a CCD, and while the analog camera recorded on the celluloid where there were chemical changes. The next thing is that in a digital camera, in a digital photograph, one can do lot of manipulation which is really not possible in case of a film. Like that, there are many things which are in favor of CCD, and at the same time people prefer to use film camera simply because of couple of reasons. Film superiority in capturing more information on medium and large formats. Creating a traditional photographic look. Capturing shadow and highlighting details. The wide exposure latitude of film and archival storage. Let us talk about the automated printing machines which are being used extensively for printing. What happens in this is that principle of manual printing are followed. However, since it is computerized, the entire data is fed including sharpness, the contrast and other data is fed into the computer or to the enlarger, and one by one the 3 lights are shown onto the paper and the image is made. Ultimately, computer does everything for the print to be made, and the best thing about this is that this data can be used for making enlargements of different sizes. You do not have to, like in the case of manual enlarger, that for every enlargement you need a different set of timings. In this case, the timings, the sharpness, the other things, the other data is the contrast is fed, and you can make any size of enlargement. Another advantage of this kind of machine is that you can make compact disc and keep the data recorded elsewhere for the use in reprinting of some other time. However, the point to note is that due to the inherent problems of digitization, the quality of print will not be the same as that of one which was done originally. As we know, normally the quality goes on deteriorating and we go on using the same picture again and again, like it happens in the case of Photoshop. For example, when we make the print, we use the picture, we save the picture again and again, the quality goes down. Similarly, in case of compact disc, also the quality of picture will not be the same as it was there when it was first printed. The best course open is that since the data is available in the computer every time you want to get a picture made, you go to the printer, same printer, that is the same lab, and tell them to print the same technical data to print the picture. Sometime this data can be found at the back of the print also. A major step after the creation and processing of image that the image is taken over an optimum hard copy or printing paper in order to give correct look and feel. Printing is a major step after creating and processing of image. A good paper can give a correct look and feel of the subject. Printing papers are decided as per the need of the image. Before understanding different types of paper, let us first understand some major properties of paper. First of all, the weight basis, that is, it is on GSM, that is to say grams square meter. The weight or substance per unit area is obviously fundamental in paper and paper borne products. The basis weight of paper is the weight per unit area. This can be expressed as the weight in grams per square meter, that is GSM, or pounds per 1000 square feet, or weight in kgs or pounds per rim, that is of 500 sheets of a specific size. Rim weight is a common term to signify the weight of a lot or batch of paper. Control of basis weight is important as all other properties are affected. Variation of moisture content in paper affects the grammage. Let us see brightness, whiteness and color brightness. Color brightness is defined as the percentage reflectance of blue light only at a wavelength of 457 nanometer. Whiteness refers to the extent that paper diffusely reflects light of all wavelength throughout the visible spectrum. Whiteness is an appearance term. Color is an aesthetic value. Color may appear different when viewed under a different light source. Brightness is arbitrarily refined but carefully standardized blue reflectance that is used throughout the pulp and the paper industry for the control of mill processes and certain types of research and development programs. Let us see the types of paper, and to begin with we have glossy paper. Glossy paper is most common paper for printing photos. It produces a sharp and vibrant image. Glossy paper is also smooth to touch. The disadvantages include the fact it is easy to mark them with fingerprints or dust and they cannot be removed. Glossy photos are best framed so that no dirt or fingerprints can touch them. Glossy paper is also more reflective and shiny, which is a problem if you plan to view the image in sunny area. If you need your images to be as sharp as possible, then you might want to think about using glossy paper. Semi-gloss is cheaper and more affordable than glossy paper. As the name suggests, it is simply less glossy. Premium grade is a higher quality paper and will produce sharpest results. Brand specific papers are produced by companies to be used with their own printers. Then we have gloss laminative, very popular paper. The best example of a gloss laminated paper is in the form of a postcard. The main photo is on the front along with a gloss laminate coat applied, which makes it even shinier. The back has a texture of a plain cardstock. Laminating the paper makes the colors even more vibrant. If you plan to do any sort of advertising, then glossy laminated paper stand out above and others and should be your choice of paper. Let us come to another important kind of paper that we use in photography, and that is known as a matte paper. Matte paper looks dull and lusterless. It is used in industry to produce good quality prints, but it does not have a vibrant color finish. Matte paper is not glossy, and therefore finger marks or glare from the sun are not a problem. A good use of matte paper would be inside a shop in which the lighting might cause reflections. Due to the non-reflective nature of this paper, it would be an ideal paper to use. Disadvantages of matte paper include the fact they soak more ink into the paper. This will affect the sharpness of the image. When printing macro shots, portraits or other images that rely in small detail, you may be better off using a glossy paper. There are many different types of matte paper, so pay close attention to what you purchase. A semi-matte or a luster paper may have totally different look than traditional matte paper.